Okay, so if you clicked on this video, there's a chance that you have already dealt with imposter syndrome or you're even going through it right now. Now, in this video, I'm gonna have two parts. The first part, I'm gonna talk about my unpopular opinion about how imposter syndrome is actually a good thing. And in the second part of this video, I'm gonna talk about my three-part system about how I have overcome imposter syndrome, and I'm calling it the Charmander Method. So first of all, let's just get into it. If you clicked on this video and you just don't know what imposter syndrome is, I can define it right here. It's defined as the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. In layman's terms, it's when you actually get a job and you look around and you feel like everyone around you is much smarter than you, and then that you, in your experience, you don't belong. This causes a lot of people to have a lot of anxiety and insecurities about how they can do their job, despite the fact that they got hired for that job in the first place. So now that we have it defined, let's talk about ways where you can alleviate this feeling of anxiety. One of the first things is that if you're in this job, if you got into this position, this is not by accident. You have years of experience and education to get you to this stage in life, and you probably had to go through an extensive interview process to prove that you do belong at the place you are. Just because you're unsure about how much you know at the beginning, you've already been proven throughout your whole experience that you have done stuff that is unique to you for this job. And there are many people along the way who can already say that they believe you can do this job. So that should at least alleviate some of the feelings around imposter syndrome. And for this next point, I want to talk about how everyone paints it as kind of a bad thing about imposter syndrome. Yes, crippling anxiety and constantly worrying about whether or not you're good enough is a horrible feeling. I do admit that, but imposter syndrome is a tool. You can use this. You can use imposter syndrome to make yourself better and continue to grow. In fact, if you walk into a room, if you walk into a job and you are the smartest person in that job, then that job's not going to challenge you very much. If you're clear at the bottom of the entire group and you have people all around you that you can learn from, that is the best case scenario. You can use that to learn and grow in your own career and your own skill sets based off all these people that are around you. What I'm trying to say is that you can use that anxiety, you can use that feeling of imposter syndrome as a superpower to motivate you to learn more and faster about things that you don't know or you're not entirely sure about. So what I'm trying to say is that we can use this feeling of inadequacy and this imposter syndrome, we can use it as a motivator to learn faster, to grow faster. And to me, that's like one of the most exciting things, is to be able to go into an environment where I don't feel like I know anything. And I'm honestly lucky to have the seat I'm in. I'm excited because that is something that I can learn from. I can continue to grow in that environment versus kind of stagnation in another place. If we want to think about the opposite, what is the opposite of imposter syndrome? You would probably define it as blind arrogance or cockiness. At the other end of the spectrum, if you are the opposite of the imposter syndrome, then you think you know it all. And guess what? Especially in software, there are many things that you do not know, and you will always be learning year in and year out because things change so quickly. Having the opposite of imposter syndrome is a death sentence for your own growth and your own ability to work with other people. So it's important to think about this imposter syndrome as a spectrum of like arrogance and imposter syndrome. You want to find a happy medium where you're not crippled with anxiety and you're not arrogant with what you know. You're still learning. You're able to be without the negative effects on both sides of the spectrum. You got to find that balance. Okay, let's jump into what I'm lovingly calling the Charmander Method. I've been able to overcome imposter syndrome in every single job that I've ever been into, and let me tell you how. So if you're unfamiliar, Charmander evolves into several different forms. There is Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. Let's talk about Charmander. The Charmander phase is simply acknowledging that those are the feelings that you're going through. That is the anxiety that you're worried about, and being able to name it, saying, I am going through imposter syndrome. The second part of this stage is the fact that you have to know that everyone on this earth who's doing anything ambitious has gone through imposter syndrome, especially in software, especially in every white collar job. Any high ranking person, any smart person will be the first one to tell you that they don't know everything. And that is after years and years and years of finding a way to overcome this feeling. Everyone goes through it, so you're not alone. So you're not alone in this journey. And this is going to help you advance to the next stage once you accept and acknowledge all of these parts of imposter syndrome. So the second stage is when you move up into the Charmeleon stage. So the Charmeleon is essentially being able to craft your image, craft your communication appropriately. And what I mean by that is, for example, you would say things that portray confidence, but also not a definitive statement. That gives you the leeway to be able to get out there and learn, because you're always going to be learning. Some examples of this might be, you know what, in my experience for this problem, I've always done XYZ, or I've always seen XYZ, so this is what I would do. You're not saying that's the definitive answer. What you're saying is, off of the experience that I've been built off of, I know that I would approach it this way. Another example of fine-tuning your communications is saying, this actually surprises me. In this situation, I would do XYZ, but I'm not sure if that's the right solution, so I'm going to dig in. You're speaking confidently that you don't quite know exactly what's going on, and it surprises you based off your experience. You're also giving yourself the out of being able I want to dig in and I want to learn. But you're also anchoring it off of the experience you have. Your experience could be completely wrong for this situation, and that's okay. That in itself is allowing you to learn and grow, as in the future, you will probably run into this similar situation as well. Also in the Charmeleon stage, you want to be able to use this feeling as an indicator, like a litmus test of whether or not you are moving forward and advancing in your life and your career. If you walk into a room and you find that you're the smartest person there, it's not very probable that you're going to be learning or growing much in that position. If you find yourself with a lot of the feelings of being an imposter, that is a great opportunity for you to learn and grow and build up that confidence. That is an environment where you're going to grow more and advance your career. If you use that as an indicator, that can determine whether you're ready to move on to that next step or try to milk out as much experience as you can in this current environment. Okay, so the last stage is obviously Charizard. This is where you use imposter syndrome and the tools that you've learned so far and turning it into a superpower. Now, the first part of this stage is being able to toggle on and off between the highest level of confidence and also the ability to go into the complete unknown. So when it comes to the complete confidence, you are able to leverage a lot of the experience that you already have, and you can go up to the closest you can to 100% confidence and say, I've done this a million times. I know what we should do here, and this is how I'm going to approach. And if anyone tries to contest that, you can counter and back up your claim through years of experience or all of the tough situations you've been in the past to be able to confidently say what kind of approach or what kind of thought process you have on the problem. When we get into the other side of the complete unknown, you're able to toggle into the learner's mindset. You can say confidently, without any shame at all, you know what? I have no experience in this realm at all. I don't know that framework. I don't know that language. I don't know this domain at all. But guess what? I know that I can dive in and I know I can learn because I've had to jump into things like this many times in the past. You're building off that confidence and that knowledge of things you've done in the past to show that you don't know it, but you will learn and advance and grow into this challenge. You will take this challenge as a learning opportunity, and you know you can do it because you've done it a million times in the past. You have confidence of going into the unknown, and you have confidence of doing the things that you have done a million times already. And that leads us to the second step of this phase, is being impossible to shake. So when you have the ability to finally tune what is imposter syndrome and what is carefully crafted confidence, you can jump into any situation and you will come out stronger and smarter on the other side. If at one point someone confronts you and contests what you're thinking, you can entertain their idea, but you can also back up everything you've done, everything that you know, with years of experience of trial and error and knowledge of things that you've done in the past. On the other side of things, there are moments, and you will continue to have moments where you put your foot in your mouth, or you make a mistake, or you are completely wrong about something. But at this stage, with all the skills and the knowledge you have coming up to this point, you can quickly accept your mistake, accept that you were wrong, and say, oh wow, I was wrong. I can learn from that, and you move on quickly. Everyone around you is going to respect you more when you are able to admit that you're wrong and be able to move quickly and move towards the goal that everyone is trying to work for in the first place. One thing I can speak to, and the utmost confidence is that everyone in their career is going to run into this feeling. Especially when you're trying to advance, trying to get to higher levels in your career, you're going to run into this feeling. And how you respond to those feelings makes all the difference. And I just hope that this video, the Charmander Method, actually becomes something that people can use to get better and be able to handle this feeling of imposter syndrome with grace and confidence and grow out of it. So if you made it this far of hearing me talk in your face, then go ahead and put like the video game character so that I know that you guys have watched all the way through. And if you felt that this is valuable, just go ahead and like and subscribe and let me know so I can try to put out more content just like this to help people grow in their career of freelancing, software, whatever difficult industry that you're in. I hope this helps.